Inside Jason's mind. Inside Jason's mind. You're inside Jason's mind, and I wanted to let you in on some information you might not know. There's a virus. There's a virus out there. It makes it hard to breathe. It makes your heart race and pound. It has butterflies in your stomach at all times of the day. When you go to sleep at night, it's all you can think about. The virus. It instills fear into you because if you don't already have it, it'll be on at 9 o'clock. It'll be on at 6 o'clock. It'll be on at 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, 8, 9. It's a virus that is based off of fear, control, manipulation, propaganda. It is partially the coronavirus, but what I'm talking about here is the virus I like to call the news and media. Now, if that's not a fucking virus, I don't know what is. It is. It's a virus, and I think that if anything should be eradicated, it should be that, because at some point you have to ask yourself is, when you watch the news and media, are you being fooled or are you being informed? Now I can tell you this, 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, you're being fooled. I mean, it's just like any other thing right now in the world is, it's not about how many social, let me start over. It's not about how many physical social relationships you have. It's about how many likes you get on Facebook, how many likes and views and things you get on YouTube.
Oh my God, you're so awesome. You have 10 likes.
You know, that's what we're basing everything around these days. And so before I move into that further, I'll backtrack to how does that play in with the news and media. Well, you can go into YouTube and find any news and media outlet, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, anything, name it. And ones that are out there I've never heard of yet because I don't keep up with the news that often, and that's a good thing. But they are not going to get those likes. They're not going to get the views. I mean, when you're a radio or a TV station, and you sit there and you see, well, we're really only getting, 20,000 people tuning in. We got to bump these stories up to something a lot more, invigorating and exciting. We've got to make it like the world is a movie at all times. This is the news and media talking. We have to make it to the general public, seem to the general public like there's always an action film happening outside their doors, so they're best to just stay inside. And that's what's happening. I don't even want to say slowly but surely, because I've really seen it progress over the past, easily 5 years. It's just, wow, like what's going on with this world and these little fucking spy boxes we call phones, and I say this, and once again, I'll get back to the news and media, but I've said this to a lot of people, is that it amazes me how you can have, like, you get in a room with some people and you're just hanging out, but then someone's like, oh, hey, did you see this video? And then and of course everyone's like, oh, well, I mean, maybe I have, maybe I haven't, let's go look. And you get 4 or 5 people surrounding or like gathering around a small little phone. It's about my phone is about 2.5 to 3 inches wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Math is fun.
A little bit, 5.5 inches tall. So we're calling it a 3x6 little spy box is enough to take people's attention away in a group. It's amazing to me. We're focused on this little box, and yeah, there's good things you can watch, but so much of it is just ridiculous crap that's really not useful to anybody. And I'm not going to go into those things. We've all watched stuff where you can decipher for yourself what is relevant, educational, informational, and what's just filler, you know what I'm saying? But with the news and media, think about this, if they went out and did a story on a little unknown bakery that makes the best cookies and milk,
Yummy.
whatever, And they went on and did that story. It's like, yeah, there's going to be people inevitably that are going to watch that story, but I think at the end of it, they're not at this point where we're at with the news and how they perpetuate race wars and fear and just all these different things that make us not want to go out of the house. It just becomes a point where they're going to have to bump these stories up to the next level. Guys, we can't have stories about cookies and milk and, you know, all these little independent businesses that are doing mundane things and just really just trying to make it like everyone else. We need explosions and fires and murder and robbery and riots. And, you know, it's so fucking funny. About 3 months ago, I was sitting around thinking of a song in my head that I was coming up with. And I have not come up with it, but it had something to do with, you know, while we sit around and watch the news and be quiet, something, you know, sitting around watching riots or watch riots or so, you know, it's something, you know, about sitting. You got to, you know, sit your ass on the couch, watch TV, and be quiet, and let that suck you into what they're trying to tell you, and take your mind, hold your mind to the fear, and just sit there and watch the bullshit they're pushing. And then there was no riots happening at the time, but now apparently there's riots happening everywhere. And it's funny how I was gonna make a song saying something about riots. Now we have these riots happening because of the George Floyd thing, and I'm sure many of y'all have heard. Sorry, I hate to say it, I don't know the guy's name. Got a black 27-year-old guy supposedly shot and killed by the cops. I think it was a Wendy's parking lot. Nothing about the story makes sense. You know, how are you going to have a riot happening in that city and then you're going to go bother a guy that's sleeping in a parking lot? I just don't see that at that point in time. You know, yeah, you've got to have cops, you know, outside of the riots, but what the fuck are you going to mess with some guy who's sleeping in his car? He's not dead? Good. Let him fucking go about his business. I mean, what the fuck? Anyway, the camera, if you notice on that, this is the last thing I'll say, is that his car was like right dead center in that fucking camera's frame. I mean, what I'm saying is false flag, just because even if it's not a false flag, they're gonna perpetuate this to George Floyd. We already got to his celebration of life. Now they're moving on to the next one. Don't be surprised if you don't see very soon, because they're doing it just nonstop, another mass shooting, some type of a bombing happen. And I know this kind of type of stuff, you know, with the riots is nothing to laugh at, you know, but it's by design, okay? And don't forget, for any of you naysayers out there, just jump on Google and look up you know, things that George Soros funds, you know, and one of those things he funds, or groups he funds, is Black Lives Matters. Now, this guy is a media mogul and basically is in charge of everything that we see on TV, most everything we see on TV. George Soros, I mean, everyone's heard of him. If you're my age or around my age in the 30s, you've had to have heard of this guy by now, and you just look up some basic information, and he's down with a lot of really strange groups. But a Jew is funding and essentially he's funding and controlling Black Lives Matter. It's all a stage, is what this has all become, and we're just watching these designed plays, or these things that, you know, some things are fake, guys. I'm here to tell you, some things are real. You know, it's like me and my wife got into talking about that El Paso shooting, and I you know, was talking about all these things about how, well, fuck, he probably didn't even shoot anyone. I'm trying to look in and do the research. How many Mexicans did he actually kill? Because apparently that's who he was after. Not knowing that you don't have to drive all the way out to El Paso to find Mexican people, because we do live in Texas. Lots of Hispanics and Mexican people here. It's not like you got to drive. Anyway, we're not going to get into that too much. But the point was, she said, I was saying, I don't think anyone did get shot. That's just my theory, my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. And she said, well, what if they did send some guy out there and he did kill people, but it was intentional, it was planned? And I hadn't thought about that, and I said, well, fuck, dude, you know, there's nothing saying that didn't happen either. Real people died, but the person who was behind the gun was put there intentionally. It's something to think about, and once again, you say, well, how's this all boiled down and get back to the roots of what we started talking about, which is the virus of news, what I call news and media. It's because the information we're discussing right now has all been shown to us via news and media and TV. It's not like any of us haven't heard of this before. Is there not more than one way to get to the same place, the same solution? I mean, what I'm saying is my opinions differ from the most mainstream, and that's because I don't subscribe to the mainstream. Reason being is I feel like they are obviously biased, and so am I in a lot of different ways, but they're biased and they want to take control of your mind. Entertainment, okay, and that in Latin, when you break it down, literally translates to hold the mind. So think about it, you can go, okay, well, that doesn't make sense. We'll just go research it, but government, govern the mind, control the mind. Okay, and so you sit there and have to at some point think about the fact that words do have meaning.
Yeah, but emojis are so much easier, bro.
We speak and we don't think about it 100%. It's not like I know every single word coming out of my head next before it comes. Maybe I do, but I'm not able to calculate it. But at some point you have to slow down and realize when you're in an in-depth conversation with another person, or well, with myself right now. I mean essentially I'm talking to a phone. Okay? Until I get some better equipment to record on, the phone is what I'm, and if someone just so happens to hear this and get something positive from it, or it makes them think, or I'm not looking to change someone's mind, okay? I'm not trying to force feed anyone anything, but I am trying to let you kind of end on my mind, inside Jason's mind,
Mine.
Because when we share things, even by communicating like this, I'm communicating one way, which is I'm not having a conversation. No one's able to talk back to me in real time currently because I'm in my room by myself just recording, talking, and that's it. I started looking at my cat and just kind of got lost. Boom, 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 let me go back. Yeah, so words have meaning. I'll just get back to that. Just really, start to think about what some of these things do. Do a little research on what some of the words in the government, what some of those things mean. The word government, entertainment, this isn't one that's necessarily a word as much as a phrase that has what I like to say is a pretty heavy meaning behind it. Bread and circuses. It's a diet of food and entertainment to keep the masses docile, happy, content, not uprising or mad at the world and out there, protesting. Anything basically is what you can break that down to with the bread and circuses is stay fat and happy, eat your food, and then all the other times is keep you distracted by football and sports and all these movies that are stupid. A new TV show every fucking week. I mean, if it's that easy, goddamn, maybe I'll start doing it. But, it's just nothing but filling your life with distractions, so you can't have thoughts of your own. When you're watching an idiot box, also known as, which me and my friend Psychedelic Jesus have deemed the one-way mirror dimension, or one-way mirror universe. Let me explain what that is real quick. The one-way mirror dimension, and I'll do it as quick as I can. You've been pulled into an interrogation room with some police. You're being accused of a crime. They're interrogating you. You're sitting at a chair on one side, the other side facing his back to the one-way mirror in the interrogation room as the police officer. So you're looking at the one-way mirror, but whenever you focus your attention to the police officer, they're basically right there, same area. Well, that one-way mirror is literally just that. You can see the reflection of yourself looking through from that interrogation room, but somebody, for sure, is on the other side, watching your facial expressions, listening to the conversation, looking at your body language. They're taking notes of everything that's happening in that room, and it's being video recorded, audio recorded. There's people picking everything apart. They're going to try, regardless of if you're guilty, they're going to try to make you guilty. Anyway, getting off on the wrong topic. Now close your eyes, okay, and picture you're still in that interrogation room, sitting in the chair, right? Close your eyes and just imagine yourself now with your eyes closed. You're in this white room. There's just whiteness all around you. Now let the two walls on your left and right, both those walls, drop down, and then another wall in front of you drop down. That's your living room. Now you open your eyes, you're in your living room. You've switched places, okay? Just picture this. Now what's on the right and left wall? Well, that's up to you, whatever your house looks like. But what's on the wall right in front of you? Well, it's a TV, or it's a computer, or it's a phone. But for simplicity, let's say that this now that your new environment that you've opened your eyes and put yourself in is your living room, and the TV is just sitting there right in front of you. You turn that motherfucker on, and you are stuck in a one-way mirror dimension. How is this? Because that TV, when it's tracking everything you do. How's that, Jason? Well, I have Netflix. How do you sign up for Netflix? You got to have a credit card. You got to have an email address. All of that stuff becomes interconnected, just like your devices. I compare my phone to my computer to my PA speaker, my phone to my PA speaker. I can pair my computer to my TV, my soundbar it's all interconnected in that sense, and so is our information online. So right now I'm sitting in front of my computer just looking at something on YouTube, and it's not even playing. The fact is I'm logged in under my Inside Jason's Mind account, which to get that account I had to put in information and sign up with Gmail or Google or whatever it was and just do all this stuff, right? You're being tracked definitely on your computer and your phone, in my opinion, way more than the TV. But from what I'm hearing is it's all the smart technology. It's all interconnected, so it really doesn't fucking matter. You're being tracked. Plain and simple, hate to tell you, and you say, well, this is America. But they sure made it fucking outright blunt, in your face, obvious that, hey, we passed this Patriot Act. And what that means is basically if they well, this is what I know of it, just without looking into it. This is off the top of my head. I'm not going to go research into it right now. But basically, if they suspect somebody who's an American citizen of being a terrorist, they can, without warrantless phone taps. I guess if they wanted to, they could come and search your home without a warrant. They can they can search anything, your internet history and search history, and don't guys just anyway. It's crazy out there. And so don't forget to laugh, and don't forget this is a comedy podcast for entertainment purposes only. Not meant for any actual information. This is opinions of a person. There's apparently 7 billion of us on this planet. Wouldn't it be boring if we were all exactly the same? Of course it would. It'd be fucking boring, dude. So you've got to hear things that are not the status quo, not keeping, no, that's not, I'm not even going to finish the status quo, what everyone else is doing, what's to be expected. You have to step away from the status quo and go beyond that, and you've got to hear other people out, whether or not you agree with it or not. A person's opinion should be respected as long as it has some type of solid foundation or basis or something backing it up. Obviously you don't go out there and say, and I mean, some people will, and those are the people that are stupid, but some people go out there and say, well, there's flying spaghetti monsters out there. Well, you can't disprove it. Yeah, motherfucker, but you can't prove it either. See, you put yourself at a standstill, a stalemate. There you go. That's an even better word. And if we just create nothing but stalemates, that's just bullshit. That's filler. That's division, where we can't come together in unity and agree on something. When we create all these stalemate situations, like in chess, neither one of us is gonna win. Drop it and let's fucking move on to something better. Let's move on to something more positive. Let's stop creating all these arguments. Let's get off of Facebook. That's a whole nother episode for sure. But let's get off of Facebook. At least try to. I mean, if it put your timer on and only stay on for fucking 15 minutes the entire day.
Well, are you gonna do it, punk? Are you?
You'd be doing real good if you're on Facebook for like 3 or 4 hours in the evening, and you can get it down to 15 minutes a day. That's a hell of a fucking improvement. But if you can get it to 0, which is what I've done, it's changed my life. I am not mad as much. I don't have as much negative energy, because when you notice on Facebook, guys, and don't say it's just me, you have to admit, I know it's you put yourself around the people you want to be associated with, or the type of person you want to be with. You want to be successful, put yourself around successful people. But that's the thing, is when they're trying to take away actual physical relationships by using the social distancing bullshit, it's making people more reliant on these bullshit non-relationships, meaning people are just on there and they're typewriter warriors, typing away things they would never say to a person's face, being smartasses, I don't know, being corny. That's not really a bad thing if you want to be corny or something, but what I'm saying is there any relevance to Facebook? I mean, for a person like me, no. I don't see the purpose behind it. It has been proven, and I'm not going to go into the research on this. I invite you to do it. I'm opening doors here. Just all you have to do is push through them and delve into the topic yourself. But Facebook is a data collection site. It's all based off of artificial intelligence, and it spies on you. And if you don't believe that to be true, think about any time that you and your friend or your wife or your husband have been sitting there having a conversation about a very specific topic, and then you see an advertisement for it on Facebook. Well, I'm going to tell you what, that's because they listen to your conversations. It's real obvious. There's also options on Facebook, if you want to look into this, to where you can actually go in and turn off your offline tracking, because Facebook does track all the activity you do on your phone while you're not on Facebook, in order for it to better serve you. That was in air quotes, and it's not to better serve you. It's just like any technology is. Oh, we could use this awesome technology for facial recognition, and it could help us find people who've been kidnapped, or people who are on the Amber Alert, Silver Alert. It could help us find criminals that have been on the run for years, and this and that. They went into an establishment that had facial recognition technology in their camera systems, and yeah, okay, you can list off 100 positives, but just like the world works in dualities, you can list off 100 negatives of what that technology will do as well. You see what I'm saying? So Facebook's no different. For all the good you find in it, you better believe there is just as much, guaranteed there's more, but just as much, if not more, bad negative shit that can be done with it. And I guarantee you, that's unfortunate. That's how technology and things work, and news and media works. The news and media, back to our original point here, they could easily use that time and money and equipment and production that they do to man, hey guys, we're gonna have a segment on how to grow your own vegetables, but instead of it being a fucking 3-minute segment, we're gonna spend tonight the entire episode. We're gonna teach you how to grow tomatoes, watermelon, cantaloupe, squash, and we're going to get you in the right steps tonight so you can be self-sufficient and not have to go to the grocery store when the times are tough, or you don't have to go to the grocery store at all.
You mean people grow their own food? What are you, a conspiracy theorist?
But they won't do that because it's helpful. It's teaching somebody something that they can get away from the TV, go outside and say, holy shit, you mean planting plants is as easy as sticking them in the ground and watering them? I mean, there is more to it in a certain aspect, but what I'm saying is the news isn't going to sit there and give you some badass information like that. They're going to give you some horrible fear porn bullshit that doesn't it makes people not want to go out of their house. And I can prove that to people because I know my stepdad and his girlfriend, man, used to just do things all the fucking time. He retired. Oh, we're going to Corpus. Oh, we're going to fucking this skate park. We're going to Houston. We're going... Man, they would do everything. Dude, now, every time I drive by, cars aren't fucking moving. Every time I text him or call him or do anything, I brought up a couple of things one time. I don't hear from the guy. They've fallen into the trap of the fear. I mean, every time I talk to him, it's everything about the coronavirus, the death tolls, the George Floyd, it's anything on the news. They are just stuck there. They're in it, man. And to try to get them out potentially could ruin a relationship. And isn't that fucked up? If it hasn't already. It did with me and my dad. And then about a month goes by and we start talking again. And I finally figured out a way to talk with my dad about some things to where, and come to find out, we have a lot of the same thoughts when it comes to the news. And he says is what they're doing is creating, and what I say is a race war, which is for sure. But he says it's a civil war. Well, if you're having fighting happening within your own nation and country and its own citizens fighting each other, that is a civil war. So it can be more than one thing at the same time. We're looking at a race war, a civil war. All the while, these distractions are keeping us from enjoying life. What's happening behind the scenes? What is going to come about when this is all said and done? And I don't want to get out there too far right now with assumptions and just kind of, not staying on topic too much. Because like I said, there's so much to be spoken about. Is that talked about? I don't know if those are both right. Let's just say there's so much to be talked about. There comes a time where I have to stop myself and realize there's always time for a new recording, Jason. You don't have to put everything out there all on one fucking podcast, I do, however, I don't want to do short 30-minute ones. I would like to do longer ones, because 30 minutes goes by real quick. But I feel like we got a lot of good information out. Just be aware. This is what happened. Okay, I play video games. I get on YouTube and of course I have my own things on there that I enjoy. I mean, there's no doubt I space out in technology because it is so apparent and available and just around us. I mean, I look around my house and go, well, fuck, dude, there's a lot of technology in here.
Whoa.
It's part of it. Don't feel guilty. Well, you know what? I think that's a positive thing. If you feel guilty because you're using technology, it probably means you're starting to become aware and realize you're using it too much. There comes a time when you step away from technology and life becomes less stressful. For me personally, it did. Certain things, I don't respond to any YouTube comments that are negative, but at the same time, I don't delete them. I just find at a certain point, if I see a confrontation is going to ensue from me speaking my mind, which typically with the kind of person I am, it will push someone's buttons to make them respond back to me. I don't want to do that right now, and so what I'm saying is, if you're stressed out and every time your phone makes a sound, you're pulling it out of your pocket, even when it doesn't make sense, just think about the fact you become a slave to this little spy box, this little fucking box of plastic and technology and fucking bullshit. And yeah, it's funny because you can sit there and I realize, I'm using this bullshit right now to record this, but I'm aware. and that's the key thing I want to make it known to you before I end this, is when you're watching TV and you see something that's not right, be aware of it. If you're watching too much TV and you start to get to a place in your head where you're like, God damn, man, taking a walk around the neighborhood sure sounds good right now. Do it. Jump on it. I mean, just walk. I mean, dude, a 10-minute walk, a 5-minute walk is so fucking nice, assuming it's not 95 or 100 degrees out. But even if it is, what's wrong with being hot for a while? We're so comfortable in our houses all the time, sweat a little bit. It's not going to kill you. If anything, being stuck inside and not sweating is keeping more of the toxins in our bodies than if we just went outside and went for a walk, and you're like, I don't want to take a shower in the middle of the day. I feel nasty. Well, who the fuck cares? We live in America, dude. I mean, you know what? Some countries, from what I hear, don't even have running water. You can take a shower in the middle of the day. I'm not gonna fucking tell.
It is intermission time.
That's dope. If you want to go out and, what I've recently started doing? Planting. I have off of one cactus I got over a year ago, I already have 12 more cactus. You know what I'm going to do? Well, I've already done it. I've started propagating cactus. Look into that, how to propagate cactus. And you know what? Here's a positive thing you can think about. Get on YouTube, type in how to propagate cactus and succulents. Hey man, yeah, you're watching a screen, you're watching the one-way mirror dimension. No risk, no reward. And I don't know about the risk part, but you're getting tracked. But I mean, get on, if you're gonna do it, at least get on there and do something that's gonna get you away from that technology. Use the technology in the way that they, whoever they are, don't want you to use it. They want you to be sucked into the technology, become a zombie. There's a horde of zombies. We have to get out of here. And not be able to even go take a piss because you just don't want to let go of that fucking mouse. You don't want to get up off of your desk, your chair that's sitting at your desk, because you're stuck in Diablo 2 or World of Warcraft or Facebook or just any number of things that, when it's all said and done, really can be a negative thing for most of us, because people are addictive by nature to some extent. Addiction's not just drugs and alcohol. It's not just gambling. Addiction is your phone. Think about that. Addiction is smoking cigarettes. That's obvious. Anything that you feel like you have to fucking do is an addiction, and you do it consistently on a daily basis every single day. And it's just when you lie to yourself about it and when it's really an issue. As long as you are aware. Be aware of everything that you're doing. That way, when you watch something on TV and you go, that doesn't look right, be aware of that and hold true to that and go, my senses and my gut feeling are telling me this is bullshit. Please don't be one of those people who just plays a game of telephone their whole life and is really just passing down incorrect, fabricated information. And what I mean by that is, don't be the person who watches a newscast and then just blows up in your mind going, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? And then runs and calls your best friend and tells them, hey, did you hear about this, and this? And they're like, no, why, what happened? And then you're, oh man, check this out. When you haven't even fact-checked it and seen if it's true, you just can't wait to share that negative information with the closest person you know. You're doing them a disservice, because think about this, had they not known that information before and they were doing something very beneficial to their life, you might have just thrown a whole wrench in their program and they went, wait, what? It's kind of like those things like whenever if you love animals like I do, and you fucking hear about someone who just, like, say you're waiting on a buddy and he shows up and you're like, hey man, what happened? And he goes, you're supposed to be here 10 minutes ago. Not like I do that. I don't, just so everyone knows. I'm not that kind of guy. But you say, what happened? You okay? Everything? Oh, no, dude, I ran over a dog on the way here. And I'm like, oh, man, I sit there and I'm like, that's the kind of shit. I'm like, I didn't need to fucking know that. I didn't need to know that a dog just got fucking ran over. I could have went the rest of the day, the week, the month, the year, my life, without knowing that an animal just got killed, because I know death is inevitable, but that's the type of stuff I don't want to hear. Take away that story I just told you about, which is false, by the way, but which is a great thing. Hey, that's positive, right? We brought a positive out of a negative because it was a fake story. But what I want you to do is just understand. Well, I sure did lose it. That happens to me sometimes, so I'm just going to keep filling in the space with redundant, mundane things of explaining how I forgot what I was talking about until it eventually comes back to me. The news is the same as that dog in the story. As I can go the rest of my life without hearing a news article, a news story on TV, because I'm just better off not knowing about it. I don't need that stress, that hurt, that emotion, that fear. I don't need any of that, and so I just decided to leave it where it's at. And I'm not the type to push things under the rug, but I have researched so much, so hard for the past 6 to 7 years. There comes a time where you go through so many stages of, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You just can't believe the information you're figuring out. And then, just like anything else, I'm not saying you become numb to it, but at a certain point, you're not going, oh my God anymore. You're going, fucking shit, I saw that coming. Or, holy shit, yep, that makes sense. And then it starts to become, now you're seeing the whole world in a different way. And you're not surprised by all this alternative information that you don't get from the media. When you start doing the research for yourself, you start to realize, like, man, the world is a fucked up, sick place. No wonder there's so many people that are alcoholics and drug addicts. It makes sense, dude. It really does make sense. People have to find a way to cope, because who the fuck can be sane in a world where we've been programmed from young and in elementary school. We've been programmed to wake up early, which is nothing wrong with that, go to school, stay there for 7-8 hours, come home, and then we do that the rest of our, basically, and while we got summer break, we do that until we're 18, and then we're either going to go to college, or people like me are going to just go out and start working or doing whatever, and that's what we're expected to do the rest of our lives. A 9-to-5 paradigm mixed with a box lifestyle, where we talk on a box, we live in a box, we sleep on a box. Mm-hmm. We go to work in our little box that's inside of a larger box.
Go on.
Everything's a box mentality, a box lifestyle, and that's really, literally, this is the most important time ever, is to think outside of the box. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so fucking important, guys. Stop being told what your reality and your truth is. Don't be part of the group, man. We're not in fucking high school anymore. And even if you are, that's not justification for fucking going along with the masses. Because something's popular, it doesn't make it right or true. Don't just go along with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or a group of 10 people just because it's harder to say no. I'm not going to drive with all of you in this vehicle and everyone's drunk. No, I'm not going to do it. Oh, you fucking pussy, I'm going to tell everyone you to say, well, yeah, you tell everyone, motherfucker, if you even make it till tomorrow, because your drunk ass might wreck and die. That's a real bad analogy. I mean, in the sense that it's kind of like, who the fuck comes up with analogies like that, I guess. But it's one of those things, is it might be hard and uncomfortable, and people might poke at you and make fun. Well, knock those motherfuckers in the face and say, oh, don't hear you talking anymore, motherfucker. I'm not invoking violence. This is for comedy and entertainment purposes only. But what I'm saying is you want to just go ahead and don't do what everyone else is doing if you don't feel that it's right. Take your own path in life. Don't follow other people's path. Boring. Be the Les Stroud. Be the survivor man of life, where you sit there and say, oh, someone made this path. Fuck that path. I'm gonna make my own path. I'm gonna take the path less traveled or never traveled at all, and I'm gonna be the creator of my own universe. And for any of those people out there that are solely relying on a higher power or something, give yourself more credit than that too. Like I say in one of my writings that I'm not going to go into too much is, if you're looking for morals and values, don't look in the good book. Don't look to the good book. Just look in the mirror, because you are your master, if you will. You're the master of your consciousness, and you're the one who controls what happens in your life. And I don't know what else to say than that. I mean, don't let the news and media tell you what the truth is. It's bullshit. It's bullshit, it's fabricated, and it's for many purposes, but if nothing else, it's for them to be popular. It's for them to make money, and they're doing it off of fear. I don't know, man. I hope I've made some sense to you. If you stuck around this long, fuck, I mean, something had to make sense to you and click. And if nothing else, I'll leave off with this, man, is there is another way to live. And it does involve playing the game, that 9-to-5 game, to a certain extent, but I've broke away. I don't work for a company. I work for myself, and you know what? The work is not consistent. But you know what? I've yet to not be able to pay all my bills and eat. And man, I got tons of cats, man. And not one of my cats have ever had to go out in the fields or the yard or go. I mean, they still kill lizards and shit. But I'm saying is that's just in their nature and stuff. But they don't have to, because they're taken care of. If you're just going back to the same job that you hate, and you hate your boss, and you hate most of the people you work for, and you're just doing it for consistency, because after taxes, if you work 40 hours, you're going to make $400. Is that worth your time? Because time is the most valuable thing on this earth that we have.
What are you, a conspiracy theorist?
Land comes second, but that's a physical thing. Time is really, it's a man-made concept, but since we all are familiar with what that concept is now of time, we have a good idea, a decent understanding of time at least. That's the most important thing that you can give somebody is your time, because we are limited on time. When we die, land will still be here. You understand what I mean? So think about when you're going and giving just even 40 hours a week to a company that when it's all said and done, you might, okay, then there's some exceptions, but when it's all said and done, most companies could give a fuck less about you. They could give 2 shits about you, and that's about it. Not even 3, 2. 2 shits only. And that's because a company, especially the larger the company, the worse, they're in it for the shareholders of that company. Who invested to get that company started up and running? Okay, these 5 people that are millionaires put in certain amounts of money as an investment to get this company built and started and operating. They are, when shit starts hitting the fan, what's going to happen? They're going to, boom, they're going to start fucking just dropping the employees like flies. Oh, that's more money in our pocket, because they don't care about the employees. Anyone, if you're a worker at a place, you are a worker ant for the queen, who is literally, the queen is only worried about a few select other ants or other people, however you want to look at it. Ants' lives matter. You're giving away all your time for more than likely you're giving away your time to a place that could really care less about you, because you're replaceable, you're expendable. There's so many other qualified people out there. You want to give them a hard time, or you want to, do anything that's not the status quo, whatever's not, SOP for that company, standard operating procedure, well, move the fuck on. Or like I said, things are going bad economically, they're going to let you go. And yeah, you sit there and go, well, that's how a business operates. That's what a smart business. If I owned a business, I would be expected to do that too. No, cut the hours down. Do something to hold on to who's helping you build the company. It's a team effort. Anyway, I'm going off on more stuff. News and media is a virus. Don't think the coronavirus, if it is real, I can't tell you that. If it's fake, which I think it could probably be, they're over exaggerating it to where it's just pushing fear. And just know this, guys, be aware. And try not to watch fucking the news or get on Facebook. Try going and planting some shit in the ground, man. That's all I got for this one. I hope you stuck around for the whole thing. Feel free, definitely, to leave me some comments, some voicemails if you're on Anchor.fm, and let's conversate, man. Let's see if I'll have you on one of my podcasts. I'm just a person like you, man. That's an offer to anyone. If you want on my podcast, guess what? This is a hobby. This isn't how I make a living. I'm nobody special. I'm somebody with a mind and a mouth, and I have 4 limbs. And if you don't, that's fine with me. We're going to make this thing work. You're inside Jason's mind.
Inside Jason's mind. Inside Jason's mind. Inside Jason's mind.